Welcome back, Coffee with Moshe. Today's featured coffee is one of my favorites. It's from Holland. I think I pronounced it correctly. Douwe Egberts. Excellent coffee, really good. I was supposed to be in Holland recently, but coronavirus shut down the flights. Hopefully soon they'll resume the flights. You may have noticed I like camels. I have camels all over the house. These are made in Israel from olive wood. And if you join us for Tour and Train, you get to ride the real camels. We have some right near here. Alrighty. I wanted to talk about another influence of mine in the process of IKI, Israeli Krav International, and reaching where we are today, and that's boxing. Boxing is very important to understand, and I always felt that I wasn't fast enough with my hands. When I was fighting full contact, I was more of a leg man. My low kicks, my roundhouse kicks were what I was known for. I always felt a little bit slow with my hands. I fought some really good boxers, some Arab guys, and I just felt my hands weren't fast enough. I wanted to work on it. So I did two things. When I went to the States, I trained with Benny the Jet Orquidez and picked up some boxing tips from him. Great guy. But in Israel, I went to look for the best boxers in Jerusalem, and I found the Luxembourg brothers. The Luxembourg brothers are three guys who came from Russia. Very tough guys. In Israel, the Russian fighters have an outstanding reputation, and a lot of them grew up fighting anti-Semitism. And one of them, I was told, got into a fight against three guys, killed one of them, knocked out the other two. So the story goes. In any event, I went to train with them in some dingy bomb shelter in Jerusalem, trained with them for several months, and to work on my hand speed and improve my boxing skills. I found that also training with Mark Hatmaker and talking with him and other people like this, that most people have trouble moving their hands and their head fast enough to avoid the punch. Now, if you're a boxer and you're training as a boxer, you will get hit. That's the fact of life, and boxers are trained to take it. If you look, for example, at the movie Rocky, in one of the films, I think it was Rocky 2 or 3, he goes and applies for a job at a bank and they're asking him why. And he's saying, do you know what it feels like after a fight when you're lying in your bed and you need to go to the bathroom and you want to call a taxi? That's how much pain you're in. That's what professional boxers experience. The guy who wins still got hit 45% of the time or more. Most people can't take that. That's not realistic for most of us in terms of self-defense. So I found that boxing didn't really help me enough. It's good for developing your stance, your speed, and so forth, but the bobbing and the weaving and all that kind of stuff wasn't really practical for us. That's why I gradually came up with the universal block, which was a simpler block to deal with all sorts of strikes rather than bobbing, weaving, moving this way, that way, moving your head and so forth like that. That's difficult for most of us, and certainly difficult as you get older. So I went through the whole boxing routine, just like I went through Ju-Jitsu and Judo and kickboxing and Thai boxing. And what we eventually reached is a simplified version of all this, because we're not training for the Olympics and we're not training for a championship or a tournament, and I don't expect people to need to be at that level of skill and fitness in order to defend themselves. The idea behind IKI is I went through all these systems and distilled it down to something the average person could learn in a reasonable amount of time and be able to defend themselves.